Hey everyone, Dan Saavedra here from MergerData, and we are on day 29 of 90 of the 90-day YouTube sprint on signal analytics. And so today we are going to be going over marketing differences in performing versus underperforming companies. So there was a CMO survey by the CMOsurvey.com or .org. I don't know, we have the link later in the presentation here. And they do all of this data collection on CMOs from across different industries, different size companies, and they ask a bunch of questions. And basically there was this chart in there that showed people who are performing, companies who are performing versus companies who are not performing. And they asked them why they were performing well or why they were underperforming. And it just so happens that a lot of those top reasons were very similar. And so we're going to talk about how signal analytics can address these challenges, these differences, why they were performing or why they were underperforming. So let's get into it. I'm Dan Saavedra. I'm the founder of MergerData, and we are a signal analytics consulting firm, which means we find the data points that indicate whether or not a prospect is going to buy, or if you shouldn't even bother wasting your sales rep's time on that prospect. And then we send all that data back into the CRM for you to make great decisions. So this leads to really great revenue growth with our clients, and we have screenshots to prove it here. And so we have two that we've been sharing pretty frequently here, and I'll just cover them really quickly. Top one, you can see we implemented signal analytics here in Q1 2023. This is the number of created deals on the left. They didn't spike until the second quarter, so deals didn't really increase that much in the first quarter, but in the second quarter they grew. And then they returned back to the baseline from when we started. And then you have the revenue graph on the right-hand side from when we launched. And then you see in Q2, revenue really started climbing. Signal analytics really started taking hold. Efficiencies were realized. Opportunities were realized that were being missed. And then revenue growth just continues. And so you can also see that at the top here, it's probably stalling out a little bit. And that's because now we have to re-strategize. We found the biggest opportunities with signal analytics. Now they've grown so much that their offering has changed a little bit. They've added an offering, and now we have to reevaluate, find the new signals, experiment, and grow again. So that's the first screenshot. And then the second screenshot, if I can talk today, is another client that we work with. The chart on the left is the number of won deals. Yep, number of won deals. So you can see right when we deployed signal analytics, they already had a growth spurt, a little growth spurt, but then it really took off after they deployed signal analytics. So the quarter after, they had a doubling of their won deals, but then at the same time, you can see that the count of deals themselves were not actually increasing by that amount. And so that means that their win rates were going up. They were being way more efficient in closing their deals. And so signal analytics is the reason for that, one of the reasons for that, because we were able to pinpoint which data points indicate whether or not someone's ready to buy. We can cater messaging, we can cater the sales conversations, and you can see that the efficiency just grew incredibly there. And so who is this presentation for? This is for marketing leaders specifically. They're the ones who answered the survey. They're going to be the ones that care about these results. Why you'd care about it? Well, if you're underperforming or you're performing and you're facing some of the challenges that are listed in this graphic, then obviously we're going to be talking about it. So it's applicable. If you don't see how signal analytics can help with the challenges that you're facing at your company, then we're going to dive into that. And then 3, you want your company to succeed because it's a representation of you. Obviously, if you're underperforming, that's a negative representation of yourself as a leader in charge of marketing, whether it was directly because of activities under your command or whether it was outside of your control. Doesn't matter, right? Everyone gets judged by the performance of the company if you're in a leadership role. And so this is something that's going to be a topic of interest for you. And so this is the resource here, the CMO Survey Highlights and Insights Report, Spring of 2024. The link is here. So the CMO Survey results. So I will provide this link in the video description if you want to go take a look at the full report. Okay, and so this is what we're going to be talking about today from the survey. It's a screenshot. It says how marketing leaders explain company growth relative to market growth. And in the left column, there is why is your company performing better than market? And in the right column, why is your company performing worse than market? Now, keep in mind, the answers from the survey are from CMOs across different industries, different types of businesses, different size businesses. And so if you want to look at the details of the survey responses, go to the link in the video description, because I think they have some specific breakdowns for the questions by the industry, the business type, the size of the company for the respondents. And that'll get you a better idea of what people are saying in your industry. This is just an aggregated version of that. So this is for the overall market, something to keep in mind. But out of all these reasons, for both companies performing better than market and companies performing worse than market, there are 3 common answers in the top 4 responses. And so the first one is the the differentiation of their strategy. The second one was having the right go-to-market capabilities. And then the third one is having the right talent for their strategy. And so there's those answers in the top 4 for both columns. So for example, companies performing better than market, they say our strategy was effectively differentiated as the top answer. It's the third answer for companies performing worse than market, and they said our strategy was not effectively differentiated. So that's how it differs from column to column. If you're watching the video, obviously you can see this and look at the different answers here. And the top 8 have a lot of similarities anyways, and I don't remember off the top of my head how many possible answers there were in the survey. So it might just be 8, but the top 4, at least, they share common ones. And so we want to talk about how signal analytics rolls into each of these. So when it comes to differentiation with your strategy from a business perspective, from a marketing perspective, using signals, using those data points that you gather and turn into signals and feed to your team can differentiate you from the market and can help you understand whether you're differentiated enough from the market. Because if you're able to close your deals with low discounting at an effective close rate, then your strategy is obviously working. If it's not, if you're facing pricing pressure because of competitors being involved in the deals, being directly compared to them, having to match on price or concede on other issues, then you can see that in signals. And not only can you see here whether or not you're differentiated, you can see which specific cohorts you're differentiated with. You might have really good performance with very specific people in specific types of organizations who do certain things. And then you might be really bad in another one, right? And so signals can help you determine whether or not you are effectively differentiated. So you can confirm if you're performing better than market, if you're worse than market. You can see how you were not effectively differentiated, where that was popping up. Now, the second one of having the right go-to-market capabilities is exactly what signals is for, right? It's for getting the data behind every single aspect of your go-to-market capabilities, of all of the things underneath that umbrella, and understanding how it can lead to results, how it hasn't led to results or has led to results in the past. And so if you are answering that you do not have the right go-to-market capabilities, what is the reasoning for that? This is a very broad category of an answer. And so signals can help you identify and address the specific go-to-market capability. Because you might be doing some things really well, but you might be missing the mark completely on others. And so by finding those data points that indicate whether or not you can be successful following a specific strategy, will all be answered with signals. Pretty simple on that one. And then the last one here was we have the right talent for our strategy. And so this one can be a little bit tough here, but in terms of how it relates to signal analytics, but how we position ourselves with this problem, so we do not have the right talent for our strategy, or we do have the right talent for our strategy, is understanding what is performing and then hiring for people to efficiently do what you're already doing successfully, right? Reducing your costs by becoming more efficient as a team, Maybe you can handle everything that you're doing well with less team members and then reallocate certain team members to other things that they're better at that you're not doing as well. Or you can hire outside help for channels that are promising, not channels, but strategies that are promising that you haven't been able to execute well based off of the signal data. But you think that there's some hope, some opportunity there. And so then you can see exactly where your problem set lies, where in the pipeline, which conversion stages, which channels, which messaging, which products or services, and then you can address that directly by getting the right talent for that. And so those three things can be addressed directly with signal analytics. And then the ones that weren't matched between the top four there was our strategy was well executed. It's lower on the companies performing worse in market side. And then our strategy was underfunded was the top one for performing worse in market. I will say this, you can do a lot just within your CRM. So that's specifically what we do. We send all the signals back to your CRM. You don't really need all of these third-party tools to purchase. You can get by with very, very cheap data sets and methods in order to be efficient and effective. Now, as you grow, that changes, right? But what specifically were you underfunded with? Was it headcount? You just didn't have enough time in the day? Was it tools? Was it money directly for campaigns? Like, what was it? And is there a way to still work with the funding that you do have? And we would always say yes. Find the 20% that gives you the 80% of results. See what you're doing correct there. See if you can become more efficient with that acquisition channel. Maybe cut all the ones that don't work for now and focus on very specific, narrow experiments so that you're not just burning budget on things that have no return at all. But even like for HubSpot, for example, you don't need a bunch of money to get your tech stack connected, right? Like you can use Google Tag Manager with HubSpot's tracking code and then all the native stuff within their tool in order to build a picture of what's going on in your pipeline. And then you wouldn't even need all these additional sequencing, sales signals, external tools. It can help in the future, but you really don't need that much to get going. So you can still work with what you have if you're saying you're underfunded. Obviously, if it's a headcount thing, for us, it's a little more difficult to pinpoint how to tackle that with signal analytics. It's not something that we've really faced that much, to be honest. So I thought this CMO survey was pretty interesting. I wanted to bring that up and how signal analytics really helps out with a lot of these, how it can, contribute to your actual success, and then how it can help you if you're performing worse than market there. So you really don't need crazy complex MarTech systems. You can, if you have the money to invest in it, you can get more efficient and you can know a lot more stuff. But we've seen success, especially with smaller companies, just keeping it simple. The complexity can kill a lot of momentum. And so for us, we're still a small company, right? So we're not implementing for our company the same thing that we're implementing for companies that are making 40, 50 million plus per year. It just doesn't make sense with the stage that we're at. So you got to know where you're at in the journey and what solutions are correct. And signal analytics goes across all types of companies, all sizes of companies, but the strategy is different for each size. And so you just got to make sure that you're using the simplicity needed based off of the size that you're at. So that was it for this video. A little bit shorter today here, but I talked about all of it already. So signal analytics for the top four, differentiated strategy. Specifically, we have experiments here that you can use. So you can try to differentiate your strategy more with new things that maybe people in your industry aren't trying yet. And you do that through experimentation, doing a small thing, seeing the lift in revenue, seeing any directly attributable revenue as well. But general lift is usually a good measure. So that's how you address that one. Go to market capabilities, just focus, understanding what you need to focus on, where your problem set is at, using data to understand that problem set and then try to solve it. And then 3, strategy execution. This would just be success measurement, finding the signals, measuring the signals, seeing how it ties back to your unit economics, seeing how your financial metrics are performing based off of your strategy execution. And then 4 is right talent. So you can also measure performance with signal analytics. We didn't really talk about that too much, but if you have people really segmented for specific campaigns, for specific go-to-market strategies that you're operating, then you can measure that performance in that individual. Maybe you have them segmented by a product or a service or something like that. So you can see the signals in the data there. And so that's it for this video. As always, take one action, like, comment, share in a company chat, book a call with our team. We've seen people liking, we've seen people sharing in company chats. We have not seen too many comments, unfortunately, so we'd love to see some comments there. If you think that signal analytics might be a fit for you, you are interested in understanding or finding out whether or not signal analytics can grow your revenue over the next 2 quarters like we showed in the screenshots at the beginning of the video, book a call with our team on our website. It is all. And the next video, a milestone video. So we have day 30 coming up here. I can't believe it's been that many. I was honestly a little bit afraid that I would run out of content sooner rather than later, but I actually have a list for the full 90 days already. So I'm excited to do this 30-day YouTube sprint review. We have some good things, we have some bad things, we have some neutral things. And so if you want to see that, tune in for the next one, subscribe on YouTube or via the link in the description. Get that signal constructor tool, and it'll help your team build exactly what data points lead to which actions. You build the signals one by one. We have drop-down menus with all the options that we use with clients. And so you can get that for free with the link in the description. I'm Dan Saavedra from MergerData. Thanks for watching.